Music in Sonic games is something that's always changing, evolving, and genre-hopping to keep things interesting and fresh, and it's been this way ever since the Genesis days. I mean, there's enough for me to talk about to the point where this is my third countdown on Sonic music alone, and honestly, it probably won't be the last. While I think the style that fits Sonic the most is rock, the occasional addition of rap, jazz, techno, or any other genre is always welcomed in my book. And today I'm going to be focusing on just one of those specific genres. Hello everybody, I'm Piplupfan77, and today I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favorite orchestral songs from the Sonic the Hedgehog games. To be clear, this is not limited to just songs that are completely performed by a full orchestra in their entirety, but rather any piece that prominently features any number of the instruments most commonly seen in and associated with orchestras, including but not limited to all of these right here. So, for example, if a song uses electric guitar and bass, but also has a good amount of violin and saxophone, it's completely eligible to make an appearance on the list. And as usual, this countdown is completely molded from and is a reflection of my opinions on the music. Funny thing about opinions is that everyone has one, ergo everyone's can be different. So I more than welcome everybody to not only comment on my own as shown here, but leave some of your own in the comments once the video's over. Without further ado, let's get this moving right away with number 10. Oh, Deadly Six. Lost potential everywhere. Sorry, that's for another day. We're talking about the music here. The theme for this group is just awesome. It's got the whole villain kind of sound to it, as well as just being a nice piece to jam out to in general. I picked the violin version of the theme just because it added a little extra flair to it. In fact, the entire song's almost exactly the same as the normal version, just with some violins thrown in at a few key spots. And yes, I do know that there is a actual full orchestra version of the song, and that one's great too, don't get me wrong, but this one's just a little more fun. Plus, the mix of electric guitars along with saxophones and a trumpet for good measure is an absolute pleasure to listen to. The first level of Sonic Unleashed was a pretty important one in the grand scheme of things. I mean, think about it, it's the very first level chronologically to come after Sonic 06, something that drove the fanbase into dark, dark days. So there was a whole lot riding on this level, and really on Unleashed as a whole. A great level needs great music, and Windmill Isle certainly has that. The day stage has some of my favorite violin work in the entire series, and the fact that it's accompanied by acoustic guitars and an accordion really helps the whole thing blend together as a somewhat moderate-paced, but still relaxing track. A great introduction to the game's soundtrack, and an excellent piece of ear candy. While the whole werehog part of Sonic Unleashed can be described as, for lack of a better term, controversial, he certainly has a ton of awesome sounding music all to his own parts of the game, especially when you compare this boss music to the track the Day Bosses got, which I kind of feel is one of the weaker pieces in the entire OST. This has a great feeling of build-up to it, followed by lots of hectic sounding jazz, in addition to the intense reprise of the World Adventure around 153. And just to compare it to other fighting music, the Werehog's battle theme, not only is it tons more serious sounding, but thank God played less frequently. This has got to be one of the most soothing tracks on the entire list. Something about it that sticks out right away is the use of the eru, which people in America would probably refer to as a Chinese violin. Which is extremely fitting since that's pretty much exactly what Chunnan is, Sonic China. The night version is a much slower and more relaxed sounding song compared to the day version, which I think is how a lot of the game is really. Daytime in Unleashed is more, yeah, adventure, I'm ready to go to a new continent and hit the next Gaia temple. While nighttime is more, nah man, you can just sit back and chill, have a hamburger. It's some great music for a hub world, as well as a peaceful and relaxing melody to listen to on some downtime. Damn, do I even need to say anything about this one? Everyone knows this fucking song. If you're a fan of anything Sonic and you haven't heard this before, well, you know what to do. This is one of the songs in the Sonic music library that is just pure epic and so damn triumphant sounding. And the fact that it's an orchestral take on his world is really just the icing on the cake. As for the boss fight itself, I couldn't care less. Like, just look at this. Like, what? Why? Why? It's actually a bit underwhelming considering it has such a crazy good song like this in the background. Well, regardless, the boss fight itself is not what's making the list here. It's the track that's way more awesome than the boss could ever hope to be. Pretty sure this is one of those songs that people were expecting to be here from the video title alone. Just like Solaris Phase 2, the track for the second phase of the Dark Gaia final boss takes the main theme of Unleashed, Endless Possibility, and recreates it with orchestral instruments to make the entire thing just tastes really good. The whole idea of having the final boss doing this with the game's main vocal theme is something that fits just so perfectly. It's really sad we haven't seen it since Colors. There is, however, something negative I do have to say about the song itself, something that keeps it from being moved up a position or two. For being orchestral, some of the instruments sound really obviously synthesized, especially the brass instruments. Now this is probably because some of it was synthesized, but it's just not covered up very well. Regardless of this, it does an excellent job accompanying the final boss of the game, and I really can't complain all that much. Just like the hub music for Chunnan, the level music for Dragon Road Knight keeps the overall Asian-inspired sound fully intact, while also creating a fast-paced, energetic song for the Werehog stage. This one's just a fun one to listen to no matter what, and definitely one of my favorite pieces from the soundtrack. It's actually kind of annoying how it gets interrupted so often in the level just to hear the Werehog theme we've heard millions of times. But I don't really have a completely detailed list of reasons why I like it, so there's not much else to say. It's just a great song. Rewind back to the time when Sonic Lost World was about to get released and this song went up for the general public. All I remember thinking is, oh my god, are you kidding me? Another Sonic game with no vocal theme? I quit. I am done. I am retired. 65, cut off. I am retired. So maybe that's one of the reasons why I actually didn't like this song at all when it was first released. However, as time went on and I listened to it more, it definitely grew on me a whole lot. I mean, just look, it's number 3 on the countdown. I'd say I don't exactly hate it anymore. The drum beat in this one especially is something that really shines in my opinion, and the fact that it's completely orchestral doesn't hurt either. Still haven't got around to touching the game, and I honestly don't know when I will, but for now I'm fine with just bopping my head to its music. Yet another song that people were probably expecting to be on the list no matter what. Now, this one in particular, I never really listened to very often, but I always heard it brought up in conversations about Sonic boss music, or just Sonic music in general. I had heard it a few times, but while putting this list together, I made sure to listen to it in its entirety a few times over. And man, this song is epic as hell! Its sound is actually very similar to the final boss track for Unleashed, however it scores some bonus points for sounding a bit less synthesized, whether it is or not. The funny thing is, I think this song is a lot more epic than the Unleashed track, but Unleashed's boss is like 1,000 times more epic, while Colors isn't really anything incredibly special at surface value. Although I'm not gonna lie, seeing all the Wisps running alongside Sonic is pretty freaking cool. And while I do think Endless Possibility is a better song than Reach for the Stars by far, when it comes to the orchestral version, this one wins. As usual, before I hit number 1, I'm going to give a list of 5 honorable mentions that weren't able to make it onto the list. And my number 1 favorite orchestral Sonic song is... Hey, have I mentioned I like Sonic Unleashed? The main orchestral theme of the game is absolutely beautiful. You just get such a heavy sense of adventure listening to it. which is pretty fitting due to what it's called, and the fact that it's named after the Japanese title of the game, which in my opinion is a better title than Sonic Unleashed. Wonderworld might have been a good theme, but this is just big. It feels larger than it might seem at first. I mean, come on, you're traveling all over the world in Unleashed, finding new places, meeting new friends and enemies, doing so at both day and night. From beginning to end, you're on an adventure, one of the biggest Sonic's ever been on, and I think that this theme truly exemplifies that. Plus, the mere composition of the theme is everywhere you go. In the bosses, in the cutscenes, in the Gaia Gate hubs, which are only in the shitty PS2 version! Regardless, there's a reprise of the main theme in so many other pieces on the soundtrack, which, like I've said before, makes Unleashed as an experience so much more cinematic. Plus, the chorus of the composition is catchy as hell. I actually find myself whistling it pretty often, just like Sonic did in that one teaser. It has its highs, it has its calming lows, and it's absolutely some of Otani's best composition work in any Sonic game to date. And wouldn't you know it, it's completely 100% orchestral, being performed by none other than the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra themselves. 10 out of 10. Hey, thanks for watching my top 10 countdown, I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said at the beginning, I encourage everyone to not only comment on my list, but also share some of your favorite personal orchestral Sonic songs below. Also, feel free to leave any suggestions for future countdowns that you might like to see. And who knows, I might just do some of them someday. As for my past countdowns, I've done top 15 vocal Sonic songs, top 10 official Sonic soundtracks, and top 10 Sonic boss battles, all of which you can get to by clicking the annotations right here. I am also on Twitter, and if any of you great people would like to follow me, the link will be in the description. Thanks again for watching, thanks for the support, and thanks for being fucking awesome. Take care.